This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the WWE Podcast Mailbag here on this Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me as we are creeping closer to WrestleMania. WrestleMania 40 won't be long, but even more importantly, I think I'm finally over my sickness. So that's the most important point after being sick for off and on nearly 6 weeks. That is what the story, the headline should be, is that the host of the WWE Podcast is feeling better. I'm sure that's at the forefront of your minds. I'm sure that's the first thing you think about when you wake up and you go to sleep. It's probably what you're thinking about when you're taking care of your children. How's he feeling? And rest easy, my friends. I think it's finally over. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. And, there are a few things I say on this show, really, that I think may cause some controversy. There are a few things on here that I truly say to myself, man, I don't know. This may be a bit controversial, but I'm going to just go out and say it. And this is something I didn't think I'd have to do, but kind of go after Rhea Ripley a little bit here for a few things. One of them is storyline based in what she said on Monday night. One of them is something that she recently responded to on X. And I'm going to go after the one on X first. And we're going to get to Mailbag. Absolutely, guys. This is about the Mailbag. We're going to get there, but I have to get this off my chest because I don't know the next time I'm going to be able to do this. It won't be till Sunday, and I can't wait that long because that's my next show that I host. So if you didn't see it, making its round on X is a clip of a house show that we had Maxine Dupree compete in. And apparently she didn't do too well. She's not exactly known for her in-ring ability. She doesn't have the smoothest execution. She's clearly still kind of learning on the job, and all that's fine and well. But there are fans who are, and not just fans, but wrestlers, we'll get to that are attacking other fans for booing Maxine Dupree at a house show. Not disparaging remarks, not screaming profanities, just booing her, saying, hey, you suck. Right? Very, very PG stuff. And there has been outrage from fans, again, fans who are saying, these are wrestling fans at their worst. Be better as humans. Be better as people. Okay. That's bad enough, right? But then Rhea Ripley steps in. And she responds to this. By the way, this has like 3 million views as of this recording. And you can search for it yourself. Rhea Ripley responds and says, quote, I really wish that some of you got booed and ridiculed in the public eye while being new at your job. Learning and getting better is all a part of being human. Be better as humans. Okay, except here's the difference, Rhea. You have a job that encourages the public eye to watch, that encourages the public to actively get involved. And we are told all the time to be loud. We are told all the time to voice our opinions on at the shows, to tell WWE what we like and what we don't like. So now we need to, quote, be better as humans because we have Maxine Dupree, who's clearly not ready for prime time out there. And as wrestling fans, we're supposed to just accept it. Now, I understand from a human perspective for Maxine, she is trying. This is not on Maxine. This is on WWE, putting a woman out there who is clearly less capable than a lot of the women's division that we've come to know today. And the expectation for the women's division is also, by the way, a lot higher. but to be better as humans. So we're supposed to make sure that we don't hurt your tummy. We're supposed to make sure that we only appropriately react the way you want us to, that there's a certain way in which you want us to react. Well, I thought also that it was just, well, as long as they're being loud. And I would argue, yeah. Okay, in this case, at least the fans have enough emotion towards Maxine to even tell her that she sucks. Are we supposed to get angry at the fans for telling Kurt Angle he sucks? For booing The Rock at The Rock on WrestleMania 18? For turning on The Rock just recently over the last few months? Are we supposed to get angry at the fans for booing John Cena or booing Roman Reigns when he was pushed as a babyface for 7 years? Do you really want to go down this road, Rhea? You have a job in which the exact purpose of being a WWE superstar or wrestler is to elicit a reaction. And if Maxine or you cannot handle when WWE fans react the way that you hope they don't, but they still react, then you're in the wrong profession. Go get a desk job. The idea that she's trying to equate her job to someone coming into a private agency or a non-public facing agency or organization and walk into your cube and start ridiculing you. But again, Rhea, the difference is that's not the purpose of our jobs. Okay, see, that's the difference. It's not part of our job description. It's part of yours. And that's an element that is critical to the success of your craft, not ours, not the majority of ours anyway. Maybe some people out there rely on actual in-person immediate reaction from an audience. I would imagine most of us don't. So that's the difference. And by the way, did we not boo Roman Reigns like I said earlier? I think I said it. We booed Roman Reigns for 7 years. Die Rocky Die chance, right? Turning on Bayley. Bayley got booed at one point when she was a babyface. Are we all supposed to just fall in line because Rhea Ripley is friends with Maxine and she feels bad for her that the fans booed her? Grow up. I mean, seriously. Grow up. That's what this requires. It's a level of maturity to understand why fans can boo and cheer whoever the hell they want. And I'm not talking about a free pass to go to an event and just say and do whatever you want. Okay, that's different. That's a different animal. But when you're within the parameters of what wrestling fans are allowed to do, which is boo and cheer who they want because they pay to be there, by the way, and the wrestlers are being paid very handsomely. So there's another reason I have zero sympathy for Maxine or zero sympathy for Rhea, especially. It's ridiculous. But let's move on to topic number 2, and then we got to get to emails. Rhea Ripley on Raw. This is going to really piss off some people, but let's see what happens. She went after just men generally, and I don't mean she said, every man in the audience, I want you to listen. And I'm not sitting here from the perspective, because let me just preface this by saying we're in a culture now where I'm sure this will be looked at as chauvinistic or I'm part of the patriarchy, which is imaginary, by the way. But whatever the case may be, I'm sure I will be labeled as that, and it's fine. That's fine. Let's just go here. I'm just pointing out things that Rhea Ripley said. She pointed out on Monday Night Raw that it is, quote, just like a man to act like they're the backbone of everything. Now, that's the first thing. The second thing she said is, behind every great man is a great woman. Now, that's a common phrase, right? It's a common phrase. But number one, I don't really know if there's any truth to that, because, by the way, if you flip the script and you say behind every woman there's a great man, doesn't that just discount every great man, that there has to be a great woman behind them or they're not a great man? Because if your statement is, well, behind every great man is a great woman, well, then if they don't have a great woman behind them, then they're not a great man. There are no great men without great women, is essentially what that statement means. And sure, am I digging a little too much into this phrase? But maybe. But it is, if you just look beyond, just scratch beneath the surface a bit, she's kind of attacking men as a whole, that we believe we are the backbone of everything and that we are, that there's no great man. We can't be great as men without a woman behind us, right? That it's impossible to do. And, I have issues with this because, again, just if you flip the script and you say that, imagine this, guys. Imagine this. And I know this is not a common phrase, but it essentially is the same phrase, just with man and woman's flipped. Imagine Seth Rollins coming out there. Or really pick your favorite male wrestler. And they say, you know what? Behind every great woman is a greater man. Imagine that. And imagine the outrage. Imagine the outrage. I mean, the outrage would be nuclear from Twitter to, social media. Oh my God, WWE goes on anti-woman, mentions anti-woman phrase or something. It'd be ridiculous. Now, I'm not offended. I'm not sitting here and saying that, this is going to be the end of Rhea's career. Of course not. Most people don't care. It's just the things I pick up on. I'm like, imagine if the script was flipped. And Rhea Ripley also, the thing is, she has a pattern of this where she has now talked about going after and wanting to compete with the men and going after men's championships, which is ridiculous. I'm starting to get off the Rhea train a bit. Not that she, as a professional, she isn't one of the faces of the company. That she is. And am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Probably. Am I going to get an email from people who are angry with me? Probably. But tell me, seriously, as they say in today's culture, stop me when I'm telling a lie here. If the script was flipped, and that's really all you need to know is, if the script was flipped, how would people react? And I think you know what the answer would be. Even though it's in passing, it's a phrase. She's starting to really rub me the wrong way about really starting to go after the men in a verbal way that seems innocent, but then also talking behind the scenes about wanting to compete with men, which is preposterous. And it would be tragic. It would be tragic to the wrestling industry. I mean, seriously, the moment you start incorporating women into the men's divisions, the whole thing falls apart, and falls apart quickly. It just does. Okay. And so let the email of hate rain down. I could care less. I've said nothing that I don't think is, that's really that controversial. But in today's day and age, I guess truth is controversial. Is it not? All right. If you're still with me, time for the mailbag. Oh man, I can't wait for these emails. Let's get to patron Zepp. And he says, had an epiphany while listening to the last episode. What if the titles swap brands? The World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown and the Undisputed on Raw. All the clues are headed that way. Well, what clues? I don't see any clues on that. I mean, there's been talk of it. I've heard suggestions of it, but there doesn't seem anything that's actually on the show that would make me think, oh man, yeah, that clearly seems to be the way they're going. If you put the Undisputed Championship on Raw, that means, you could have Cody Rhodes do that, but what if it depends on how WWE wants to prioritize the brand split. Meaning, if they want to prioritize the brand split in a way that is wrestlers were drafted, not titles, which is true, then Cody Rhodes would stay on Raw if he wins the Undisputed title. But that's a good, actually, Zeb, you made me think of something. If Drew wins the World Heavyweight Championship or Seth retains, it doesn't really matter in the sense that it's guaranteed to stay on Raw. Because even if Damian Priest cashes in, he's still on Raw. The only way that the World Heavyweight Championship could go to SmackDown is if it's just made in a trade and to make it even, and that's it. And they'd have to force it. Whereas if Cody wins the title from the belt from Roman, then you're going to have a situation where Cody's going to be on Raw with the Undisputed Championship, and then there's no title on SmackDown. So that either tells me they're going to force a trade of the world title to SmackDown, or Cody Rhodes, after he wins, which is very likely, stays on SmackDown. There is no chance that they're going to have two titles on the same show. So, and also have Roman Reigns on Raw. I mean, that if he retains, that's not going to happen, right? The Roman Reigns world and his undisputed title run has been synonymous with SmackDown. So I think Fox wants to retain that, but it is kind of a more interesting question than initially thought. But to me, it's when Cody wins, and I think it's a win. How do they manage 2 world titles on the same show? SmackDown can't be left. Can't be left with the egg on its face. So, all right, let's get to our next patron. Trevor says, "Hey, Matt, hope you and everyone else are well. I just joined Patreon, and I'm enjoying the podcast a lot. I'm 18 and work in construction, and your show helps me get through the day and stay positive." Well, that's good to hear. Very good, very good. And stay focused in construction. That can get dangerous. All right, first, I think a lot of people underestimate the impact Logan Paul has in bringing your younger generation into the wrestling community. I got bitten by the bug a year ago, and 100% thanks to him in his first few matches. I'm really enjoying his heel character and how entertaining he is in that position, and I love that he's getting more on-screen time now with the U.S. Championship. And it was good to see him against The Miz last week in what I believe was the first televised non-PLE match, and I can't wait to see him give it everything in the Chamber. I'm really enjoying Drew's new heel character as well, and I hope he wins the Chamber and can get another shot at Seth at WrestleMania. I agree with you that this is some of his best work in his career and last. Since I started watching WWE, I've been a huge fan of Cody Rhodes, but after hearing your rants last week, I can feel the crybabiness slowly leaving me. Please stop before I have to change my mind and start hating on him like you do. That's it for now. I hope I caught you before you did your preview and prediction show. Well, you didn't. I'm also releasing this show late. So it's double bad on me. Okay. Well, I mean, first, if I can recruit as many people away from the Cody Crybaby gang as possible, I will, even saving one soul from the absolute tyranny of being under the regime of the Cody Rhodes camp, I think that that's a win. Even if I can bring just a single soul over to the side of clarity, then I think I've done the Lord's work. But I mean, my job isn't to change people's minds. It's just to present my point of view. But if I'm changing it, then I get it's cool. It's just Mr. Smiley suit wearing, bright white smile, bringing my dog to work day. It's not my cup of tea at all. But, all right. As far as your comments about Drew, well, clearly he won. And Logan Paul, he's gone from Mr. Social Media star and WWE trying to make him a babyface that quickly just went south. I don't know how they didn't see that coming. And having him come in and really just absolutely earn his way to a U.S. championship run and really feeling like he belongs. It doesn't feel like he's just this social media star anymore. It feels like he's a part of the group, and very quickly. And how many matches has he had televised? Like 10, maybe. It's incredible. Also, Logan Paul brings over a massive crossover audience with his millions of followers, which also attracted WWE to him. I mean, he's a perfect fit. He's the perfect fit. Thanks, Trevor, and enjoy work. All right, let's talk to Freeman. And let's see. Freeman says, Elimination Chamber was great, just like Rhea's bum. Oh, good grief. You're right about the costume choices affecting the enjoyment of the match and drawing attention away. I've said the same thing about Rhea's bum straps before. The ones they cut around, they cut wrap around her upper leg and cut off bloody supply, the blood supply, to make the bum look a little bigger. Tiffany Stratton has them as well. I think I've noticed them on a couple more wrestlers, women only, mind you. I'd love to see someone like Randy Orton coming out in bum straps, but I don't think that will ever happen. I'm not sure who oversees costume design for WWE, but I believe the wrestlers will have a limited say in what their costume consists of. As such, I don't think it's fair to put costume design decisions on the wrestlers. Actually, Freeman, there's a lot of freedom they have with their attire. WWE has designers in-house that are there to help them. I mean, unless there's a costume design that's a part of the story that is dictated, the wrestlers have a lot of say over what they wear. Okay, within reason. They can't go out there, naked, right? But they do have a lot of say. They have a lot of stroke. That's the one place that they do. Okay. So this is why I can put it squarely on Rhea Ripley. You're telling me that, there's a production meeting, and when they go over the wrestler's attire, it's like, oh, that's the next on the agenda here, guys, on the meeting is attire for the women this week. Let's make sure Rhea Ripley, really, really shows off her ass in a distracting way during the match. We really want people to focus on, her physical traits rather than her in-ring ability and her character. So let's make sure, guys, that we tell our costume design team to make sure that they cut it extra short so it looks, as sexualized as possible. So make sure you relay that message down the chain. No, right? This is Rhea Ripley. It's Rhea Ripley 99%. So I'm surprised it was Rhea's outfit that finally broke you when there were far worse offenders. Can you tell me what the point of Liv Morgan? I mean, Liv Morgan. It's not something that I've just suddenly had an epiphany on. It's not that I have, I want women again. This is not me wanting women to dress a certain way like they do in Saudi Arabia. This is me just wanting to enjoy the product and wanting to do it in a way that I'm not trying to be purposefully distracted by the costume choices or the attire choices of the women. Now I understand they're women, which means part of their getup is going to be, accenting certain areas, and that's fine. I mean, it's just when it's overtly done, where it's just like you said with Liv Morgan, where like I don't know what the point of it is. Who knows? To get this to get attention to herself is what it is. And that's okay, but you're going to get the attention that you are after and then also complain about it. You know what I mean? There's been outrage. I mean, I had people come after me about the Rhea Ripley comment with her costume or her attire decision on Elimination Chamber. And look, if you're a woman and you're a public figure and you're wearing clothing that is going to be as minimal as possible, that is going to accent your A or your T's, you know what I mean? Then you can't also get mad at the same time when people notice and say something. You can't say, yeah, I'm going to wear this knowing it's going to accent these two areas of my body, but then get mad when people notice those areas of your body. That's not how it works. And also, you're a public figure. This isn't someone spying in your house, right? There's no expectation of privacy in public. There isn't. So you're a public figure, and then you're overtly wearing these outfits that are trying to accent. I think I've made my point, but let's continue. I would call it a belt, but it does have some depth at the front and it curves up in the back, so her bum is on full display like a mating baboon. This gives the illusion that you're peeking up her skirt and makes it feel a bit uncomfortable every time she's on. I don't want to be a man that looks up skirts, but that skirt gives me no choice. She wears it halfway up her back. Now I get the costume designers want to make women look good, and appealing to sexuality is desirable. I don't think that wrestling attire should be purely practical sportswear, but there is a good middle ground. Oh, absolutely. And as a woman, look, this is a primarily male audience. Always has been, and I believe it always will be. So there is a certain sexual element to the women's clothing, and that's fine. But it should be a relatively small portion of it in my estimation. Okay, in my mind, that's how I think it should be, because the point of this is we're not enough modeling show. This isn't a fashion show. We are watching professional wrestling, and we want to watch the women wrestle. I'd prefer that I'm not distracted by, the things that they're wearing. I'd prefer it. And they'd say, well, then don't look. Which, okay, that's like It's like telling you right now, ready? Don't think of a pink elephant. What did you just do? Did you not just think of a pink elephant? You can't not do it. Okay. It's just part of being a human being, especially a man, right? You're going to. So the idea of, well, just don't look. Okay. So are we supposed to just listen on audio? Are we supposed to just turn away? No, I don't think so. So there is a middle ground, not Saudi Arabia style, but there is a middle ground. Look what Trish Stratus did. Trish Stratus was one of the pioneers in the women's division, a division that was highly sexualized, and she wore her share of skimpy outfits. But what did we think of Trish as the most? An actual wrestler in the women's division during a time when there were very few of them. And she comparatively wore very conservative clothing, and yet she was regarded as one of the best. It's just my preference, and I just see it trending the opposite way right now. And I'm for the women moving forward in wrestling. And when, you have this trend moving the opposite way that's trying to pull them back, it's concerning for me, because I like the women's wrestling moving forward. I don't like it regressing into what it was. I think we can all agree on that. As a quick aside, I agree that in its current state, WWE should not have intergender matches. That's only because they are trying to skirt realism. If at any point they return balls to the wall, bat blank crazy of the early 90s with mummies, dead people, magic powers, aliens, and Mantar in the ring, at that point, I think intergender could work. I mean, if they start going at that point, don't even, it's not pro wrestling anymore. It's a clown show. If they start doing that stuff, I'm done. This podcast won't exist. But the intergender is a horrible idea for so many reasons I've already laid out. It's terrible. Rhea Ripley would not have you believe that, because I'm as strong as a man. No, you're not. You're stronger than, I'd say, a chunk of men in the world, and more so than most women. But you're the outlier, okay? And that doesn't mean that it makes you less of a woman. You're still a woman, no matter how strong you are, right? I don't care if you are, say you are the strongest person in the world, but yet you're a woman. You're still a woman. So that doesn't negate your womanhood. So, I think it's a very, very bad idea. And yet it would, as you said, it would kind of skirt realism, which pro wrestling does just at its core. That's what pro wrestling is. You have to realize, and we all do, that what we're watching isn't real, but at the same time, you want to believe it is, otherwise you won't get invested in. And that's where the money is, right? That's where the feeling of wanting to continue watching this show is built, is emotional investment. All right. Finally, I wanted to respond to your response to my mailbag. Got it. On Naomi's entrance. I get that it's a character and theme song need to fit the character. I don't know. Maybe I read that wrong. But when Naomi's character is a party dance girl, why would she dance to something that doesn't sound like a proper song? It doesn't logically make sense. So to highlight this, I thought I would give another comparison. Tokyo Shock is clearly not a musical song, but it serves as a great entrance. It's one of my favorites as an entrance track. The opening alarms highlight that the audience needs to pay attention to Io as she appears, only to fade out to a surreal melody that has a distinct intensity but fades into a mellow, almost trip-hop-like beat. The rhythm imitates the beating of your heart as she puts you on alert, with surrounding synth representing the confusion and despair she will cause her opponents. Okay, where are you coming up with these words? Are you borrowing Cody's Thesaurus again? Either that or you are way more into what makes up music, like the DNA of music, than anyone I've ever spoken to ever. That's not a bad thing. No, I'm not saying it's disparagingly. See, I can't even say basic words, and you're making me say all these words. I don't even know what they mean. So bad night for me. So Freeman, you are just into the DNA of music. Most people don't give two craps. They're just like, is this a good song? Does it sound good? That's it. That's all. They're like, hey, is this a catchy tune? No, change it. That's it. Do I like this song? Yes or no. We check one box and that's it. That's again, no, either way is not wrong to view music, but you dig into like the nitty gritty weeds and details of what makes up music and the rhythm and the mellow, as you said, and it fades and it has distinct intensity and a melody, and like you're really getting into it. So again, that's cool, but I don't. So let's continue. It's a serious beat that lets you know Io isn't to be trifled with. Similarly, her entrance is simple yet intense, with her walking to the stage in a more subdued way. And now she's escorted by Asuka dancing like Theresa May dancing to ABBA. I don't know if Americans will get that last reference, but everyone in the UK knows that dance. And it just doesn't fit the entrance Io is going for, ruining the whole thing. Naomi's being a dance party freak, having a corporate shill of a song in the same. Okay, listen. I almost didn't. Okay, first of all, I don't know what Tokyo Shock is. That the name of Io's song? I have no clue. I don't know what Tokyo Shock is. I don't know what Opening Alarms is. I have no idea what ABBA is. I don't know what Theresa May is. There's like 5 things on top of the extra words you used. So you need to here's what you need to do, Freeman. And this is not a good referendum on myself, but here's what you need to do. You need to look at me as a child. Okay? I'm 7 years old. And you're trying to explain to me music and why entrance songs are good or bad. Okay, so from now on, because I understood almost nothing here, especially with I get your premise. Okay, I'm not that dumb, but a lot of these references, almost every single one, if not every single reference, I have no clue what any of that is. It's just like none. And maybe it's because I'm from the US, not the UK, but some of these I'm sure there's no excuse for. Whatever, right? So now that I've fully discredited myself as a music aficionado for the rest of my life, I'll move on. Thank you, Freeman. Thank you, Freeman, for embarrassing me publicly. Let's continue. Brandon S. You're just here to say Logan Paul is one of the best heels in the game today. He's super entertaining and every match he's in is a banger. Also, curious as to what direction you think they'll go for the Intercontinental title match at Mania. The latest episode of Raw teased quite a few possibilities. All I know is they better give my man, the main event Jey Uso, a shot at the title after Mania is over. So another pat on the back for Logan Paul. I would agree. He is going. You wonder what is his ultimate career going to look like, because he's young, but people gravitate, and people recognize a star quickly, and he's a star. He just is. So he has yet to have a bad match. The one thing I do and feel concerned for him is physically in real life. He kills himself in there, doesn't pull any punches, takes so many crazy bumps. I'm concerned about the long-term strategy of that. He may be a tough guy. He is. No doubt about it. He's a legitimate tough dude. But my concern is that the mileage will eventually catch up with him if he continues to, write checks, as The Undertaker would say, that his body can't cash. And right now he's young enough and healthy enough that he can recover from those. But I think eventually it's going to pile up, or he'll end up getting seriously injured doing a bump. And I hope that doesn't happen. But boy, I think he's doing it to get respect from the back and from the fans, and I think he's earning it. All right, Alex, the French guy. Let's go. He says, what is the plan? Oh, I'm sorry. Brandon, I didn't answer about the Intercontinental title. The Intercontinental title, I really believe it's going to be a fatal 4-way of sorts. I think that's the direction they're going. Probably, or triple threat. I know they did that last year. but with Gunther and Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus. But I mean, Sheamus could return. I know I think he was drafted to SmackDown, but I mean, he could come to Raw if they want to make a big trade. Sheamus on coming to Raw. Maybe Sheamus steps up and faces Gunther and finally beats him. You could do that one-on-one. That's the only one-on-one I could see happening at this point, because as you said, Jay is mixed in with his brother, and if it's going to happen after Mania, it has to happen after Mania. But Jay, in a program with his brother until after then. Chad Gable is a suitable opponent, but I don't think they're looking at him as main event or a WrestleMania one-on-one opponent for Gunther, even though they know they can have an insanely good match. So here's my thought. It's either a returning Sheamus one-on-one against Gunther, which is WrestleMania worthy, absolutely, or it's a multi-person match that it's triple threat or another fatal four-way elimination match of sorts for the Intercontinental title. All right, Alex, let's get to you. What is the plan they have with Dom and Gunther? Both heel? The answer is yes for now. I mean, they're not going to touch Dom. Dom isn't not going anywhere when it comes to him being a heel. It's just not happening, right? Like, Dom is locked in. He's got so much heat. It still works. And Gunther, they could turn him babyface, but it still works with him as a heel. If I was to say who's going to turn face first, it'd be Gunther. But yeah, having them go face to face, they still would choose. I mean, you heard the crowd. They want to see Gunther beat the hell out of Dom. So WWE needs to be careful here. If they face the crowd, they'll tend to choose the face. Yes. Which will diminish the heat on either Gunther or Dom. My opinion is that they keep Gunther's character while they turn him face. Gunther is clearly the badass type, not driven by cowardice. That's definitely the type of babyface you want. Also, please, WWE, don't waste the Money in the Bank cash-in on a secondary title. In my opinion, Damian Priest needs to successfully cash in the World Heavyweight title on the World title. Not for his sake, but the briefcase is legitimacy. Okay, but Alex, the briefcase has, I think, like a 70 something percent success rate. So it's not about the legit. See, I think that the legitimacy of the briefcase depends how you define legitimacy of the briefcase. If you mean legitimacy of the briefcase by how successful the men are, the percentage wise of cashing in, then I'd say 70, 75%, which I think is what it is, somewhere around there. It's pretty darn successful. So 3 out of 4 times right now, the briefcase has been successfully cashed in. Now, you can also define legitimacy as, does it provide them a real opportunity for the belt? Any belt they want? The answer is yes, which case they have 100% of legitimacy. So, I mean, does it actually deliver on what the prize is supposed to be? And the answer is yes. So, I mean, I know what you mean, though. I understand what you're saying. Now, let's get to the, let's see. I thought there was something else. Damian Priest. Yeah, I mean, do I think he's going to successfully cash in? You would think so. Damian Priest has come a long way from where he was. And I think he is deserving of a successful cash in. Okay. Let's get to Frank. And Frank says, let's see. First off, was wondering, do you think they should have a tournament for the Universal title at WrestleMania? That's the first thing. No. But, well, what do you mean Universal title? Do you mean like the Undisputed title, the one that Roman's carrying? Because, I mean, that's locked in with Cody Rhodes, so they can't do that. I mean, that's locked in. There's no way they would change the main event anymore. And they wouldn't do a tournament at WrestleMania. I don't think they've ever done a tournament at WrestleMania. Even a tournament leading into WrestleMania, that the finals were at WrestleMania. I don't think they've ever done that. But if you're also suggesting that the Universal title should be split off from the Undisputed, I don't think they'd do that either. Because that's now a part of the Undisputed Championship. It's a part of the belt Roman's carrying. They're not going to undo the belts to give him back the big blue one. That's just my take. Second, say Cody Rhodes beats The Rock on night 1 and Roman night 2. Who do you think would want to face Cody the day after Mania now that his story will be done until the next time with the world saying WWE podcast. Yeah. I don't think that Cody's going to face anyone the day after WrestleMania. I mean, as far as, for the title, he'll probably have some loop or some things to wrap up with Roman. I would imagine Roman would still be there. I'd imagine that The Rock would be there. If this scenario plays out, Rock night 1, Roman night 2, where if Cody beats Rock night 1, he's beating Roman night 2. You could absolutely have that. And if that's the case, where Cody beats both of these men in the same weekend, again, Roman could stick around for a rematch, but if he goes away after losing the belt, his first opponent, that's actually a good question. Who could Cody's first opponent be? Now, don't forget, if Cody's staying on Raw, does that mean the Undisputed title's coming to Raw? So, or does Cody go to SmackDown? That really, it's hard to tell, because if he's dealing with the SmackDown roster, that's a different answer than the Raw roster. Interesting times ahead. Thanks, Frank. All right, let's see. Where do we go? Patrons. Let's go to Anthony Capella. And Anthony says, good morning from California. Elimination Chamber came and went. Now it's the pedal to the metal, straight to WrestleMania 40. Tiffany was the shining star of this PLE. I don't think anyone cares about this BS revenge tour for Liv. Boring. Yeah, I would agree. No one cares, Liv. Sorry. But she's trying. Here's the thing. I may not understand, I do understand. I don't care, and most fans just don't care about Liv's revenge tour that she's trying to make a thing. But I appreciate the effort. And I also appreciate Liv coming after Becky at Raw with an edge. Not her typical smiling self with her little schoolgirl outfit. She was angry at Becky for screwing up her match. I like that. So if that's something I could get on board with Liv, But overall, I just don't find her character super engaging is the word. Maybe not engaging. It doesn't draw me in, but I don't know what they need to do for the ladies in regards to these tiny, little mighty women on either show. I just can't buy into Tiny Liv or Zelina or the Disco Twins, barely able to see over the ring ropes, challenging Rhea, Nia, or Bianca. They need some kind of mid-card belt. I know it's a packed show, and they wouldn't have time for it. They barely have time for the tag team championships, but just a thought. I know the men's tag belts, tag team championship was a good match, but how many tiny European men do we need wrestling? Am I the only one disturbed by a grown man calling another grown man a big, strong boy? He has a full beard, for God's sakes, and his wrestling trunks look like tighty whities. And the ridiculous spinning move by Bate and Mr. Fingerman's joint manipulation, both moves are just stupid. You're not saying anything that's outrageous, Anthony. You're really not. You have a lot of these women who are undersized. Just wait till Alexa Bliss comes back. Then your faction of tiny women will be complete. I know what you're saying. And I know what you mean, because it's the same story with the dynamic of them, right? They fight kind of the same way. It's the underdog. But I don't know if that warrants another belt for the exact reason you mentioned. They can't even manage the tag team championships. So I wouldn't introduce another belt, because also I don't think they give the women enough time. Tell me, what is a personal program going on with the women right now that doesn't have anything to do with the championship? Is there a personal feud going on between any of the women right now that does not involve a belt? I don't think there is one. I don't think we have that going on, which tells me that they don't have time, because everything the women do are about only the championships. Now, they have tag matches that are not for the belt. They occasionally have women's one-on-one matches that are not for the belt, but they're about the belt. So until they give women more time on the show and show that there's a need for it. I mean, what's the need exactly? Because they already have, the women have 3 title belts right now, the tag team championships and the world title and the WWE title, women's title. So I don't think there's a need. Will there be? Yes. I think there will be, but what are we going to do? Throw this in and then have them mismanage this one too? I mean, they're having a hard enough time right now. To add another would also, by the way, devalue the rest of the belts, because that means there's more championships to go around, which inherently means every other championship means just a little bit less. So, as far as the joint manipulation, I mean, yeah, it is weird. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, i.e. Butch, they're just not your cup of tea. That's all. They're not your cup of tea. I'm kind of indifferent. I don't feel strongly one way or the other about them. I'm not sitting there getting engaged by them, but I'm also not sitting there repelled by them. I think their wrestling ability is enough for me to be drawn in. But, all right, let's see. Oh, Rhea did as good as she could with Nia as her match partner. Nia still has too many botches and no sells, starting with the Hurricane Rana attempt at the start. Love seeing the human side with Rhea celebrating with her family and her emotional side backstage after the win. Thank you for another morality commentary that no one asked for. While the women post whatever they want, whatever they post, it is ultimately their decision. So put your burkas away. Whatever her outfit, Rhea dominated is a top 3 star because of her personality, mic skills, and ring ability. Her bottoms distracting you from the match says more about you than her choice of an in-ring attire. Is it different than Tiff or Charlotte having their cleavage out, and any different than Bianca and Jade showing their bare midriff? You'd make a great middle school dress code enforcer, vice principal, saving the world on dress code violation at a time. Stop being the dad from Footloose. Good luck. I hope you feel better, and let's go get to me. Okay. See, this is what I'm waiting for. This is the good stuff, right? And I'm sure after the comments I made for the first 15 minutes of the show, there's going to be even more. By the way, if anyone thinks I'm ever going to backtrack on anything I say, or, somebody's going to make a point where I'm just like, wow, I never thought of it like that. Boy, I guess I'll rethink my ways. Good luck. Ain't going to happen. And just like how everyone else is on their points, a lot of times it's not about trying to change someone's mind, but rather just see a different perspective. Doesn't mean you have to agree with the perspective or adopt the perspective. That's not, sometimes people go into debates with the idea that they're going to change someone's mind, and that's a very lofty goal, and one that I don't think that someone should focus on. But nonetheless, as far as Footloose, okay, the reference there, never saw it. All right. I don't know. Doesn't that have what's his name in it? He's dead now. What is his name? He was from Ghost. I know that. Patrick Swayze. Is he in Footloose? Or am I making that up? Either way, I haven't seen Footloose. As far as being a middle school dress code enforcer, here's the difference, though, Anthony. Middle school girls are underage. So, yeah, I mean, I would hope that there's some kind of a dress code enforcement there. And I would hope that it's actually being enforced, because the difference is they're underage. It's okay. That's a bit of an oversight on your part. Also, it's not that I haven't noticed Tiffany Stratton or Charlotte or, pick your woman, Liv Morgan earlier in the night that was mentioned. It's not that I haven't noticed it. I just never really spilled over for me until I saw Rhea Ripley. It's not just about Rhea Ripley. I think she represents, it was representative of a larger trend that I'm not a fan of, even being a straight guy that looks at it and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I mean, okay, cool to look at. But you can't tell me with a straight face, Anthony, I'm sorry, you can't, that you want women to just, if they're to you, no matter what they wear, oh, it's up to them. Who cares? Really? Okay, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. Rhea Ripley comes out in a bondage suit next week, right? And I'm trying to keep this as PG as possible. I'm on the borderline. I know that. She comes out in some kind of latex, ultra sexualized outfit. And then she has a match. And you're telling me that you would be like, well, it's what she wants to wear. Who cares? You're the one with the problem. See, here's the issue, Anthony. And it is a larger issue in the culture. It's a larger issue just in the specific issue we're talking about right now. People do things in the public eye, not in their privacy of their home, while people are spying on them, like I said. In the public eye, they wear things knowing that the attention is going to be drawn to those things or the items they're wearing, whatever the case. And then when people comment on them, and it's not a comment that they are desiring, well, you're the one who's got the problem for noticing. Oh, so now, while you purposefully wore something, knowing the reaction and desired reaction that you'd get, or try to get, when you don't get that, suddenly it's, well, you're the problem for noticing, instead of me complimenting what you're wearing, which wouldn't have been a problem for noticing. It's the opinion I have about noticing. You see? You see the problem here? So, while you think that I should somehow, and I love this reference, should mimic The Handmaid's Tale, which is, by the way, a completely fictional show. And it stars women, by the way, has made women millions of dollars, and yet somehow they are all oppressed. But nonetheless, a fictional show that will never happen, ever, okay? And women were never treated like that, ever, on that scale, in the history of the United States, ever. Okay? You may have had little cults here and there, that women were treated like that, or if, I don't know, maybe Charles Manson treated some of his women like that. Who knows? But on a large scale, bruh, it ain't happening. And it's not even close to the point I'm making. You take what I say to the extreme, and then you get annoyed when I say things that you don't like. Or I voice opinions that you're saying there going, boy, he takes the stupidest issues and he brings them, talks about them for 20 minutes. Well, I'm not changing my tune. I'm not changing it. In fact, I'm going to triple down on the things that you don't like, just for the sake of it. And I believe in 100% of what I say. I'm not backtracking, just as you aren't, which makes this all fun. All right. See, this is going to get really, it's going to get contentious over the next few days, is it not? Next week. Here we go. All right. Let's go to, where are we? Let's go to DJ, because I haven't heard from DJ in a while. And he says, I just want to mention a few takeaways from the chamber. Indy Hartwell, for the first time ever, Indy Hartwell got a chance to wrestle in front of her family, friends, and the rest of her fan base in Australia in a pre-show tag team title match. The crowd was supporting her throughout the match, and even though she and Candice didn't get the win. My concern for Indy and Candice is, what does this do for the current booking on the main roster? Because it's been very lackluster since they debuted on Raw last year. WWE usually books its stars when the PLE is in their home country, but for the most part, those stars didn't get the wins in their home country, with the exception of Rhea, like for instance, Sammy in Montreal last year, Drew in Cardiff, Wales in 2022, Zelina in Puerto Rico for Backlash. I don't know what the rest of the year looks like for Indy Hartwell, but some sort of change has to happen in which Indy gets some consistent booking, whether in a tag team as a single star or creative revisits the faction that she was a part of in NXT, called the way that also had Johnny Wrestling, Candice LeRae, Austin Theory, Dexter Lumis. By the way, where is Dexter Lumis? Well, I don't know where Dexter is. Probably under the ring staring into oblivion. Or maybe he's having a staring contest with Nikki Cross. I mean, imagine that. But I don't know where Indy Hartwell is. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for her moving forward. The fact that she got to wrestle in front of her family and friends, though, is pretty damn cool. It obviously wasn't on the main show, but still in a pre-show is awesome. Good for her. And yeah, I mean, things have been lackluster for her since they debuted, but how many times do we hear this pattern repeated? You know, a star comes up, they get a little bit of exposure, they go back into irrelevance for long periods of time, people wonder where they are, they come back out of hiding, and it's this kind of seesaw. We have a little something for you, now we don't. I would say she's a post-WrestleMania focus, even if a small one, for WWE in the women's division. All right, so I would say she seems to be kind of, again, post-Mania. I would look for her. Tiffany Stratton, she continues to impress every week on SmackDown, and she has a good showing in her first chamber. She fits right in with the rest of the veterans in the match. She's definitely got a bright future, and her as a future women's champion might not be too far away. I don't think it is either. That is a quality that you look for when a talent comes up, is do they just feel like they fit right away? The answer is yes. I think that Tiffany absolutely does. You hear the crowd was going crazy for her, even as a heel. So Tiffany right now with Tiffy Time and all that, I think she's on a roll. She's got some momentum going. But as far as a women's champion, I mean, again, post-Mania, you could take a look at this again and revisit it. But the thing is with Triple H, under his regime so far, he's been very hesitant to just give championships away. I mean, Triple H has been very lean on his title changes, has he not? Very lean. So when he changes titles, you know he wants it to mean something. And I don't know if he's going to jump in with Tiffany Stratton right away, but I could see within the calendar year she becomes champion. Definitely. So, all right. Austin Theory. We all saw the beatdown that Theory got from Cody and Seth while Waller was just watching and not getting involved. There's been a few teases of a slight friction between Waller and Theory on SmackDown for a couple weeks. Even before his main event match with Cody, Waller in a backstage interview mentioned to Kathy that he attacked my boy Theory. I did whatever I could to protect him, which clearly he didn't. And by the way, did you see Theory's facial reaction towards Waller? With that being said, it seems like Theory's face turn is coming very soon. Since his win against Cena at last year's Mania has been a bit mediocre, then teaming up with Waller, kind of rejuvenated his gimmick a little. But it seems that this eventual turn on Waller might lead to a match at this year's WrestleMania, and hopefully after that, an improved Theory's singles push that whether he stays on SmackDown or gets drafted to Raw. Okay, DJ, thank you. So yeah, there's no doubt that Theory has been, I wouldn't even say mediocre. Mediocre is being kind. It has been disastrous somehow for Theory. After him beating John Cena, which no one remembers or even cares, they just don't. The only thing people think about with that John Cena match is, oh my God, he beat John Cena. Doesn't that make him a bigger star? No, that's what they wanted. What they got was fans looking at that match and going, damn, that's where everything went south for him. Even in a victory over John Cena at WrestleMania, that was the turning point for his downfall. You know, how does that work? So yeah, I could see Theory and Waller working a program against one another, but I don't know if I would read too much into that right now with Theory and Waller. I thought it was more of just a comedic line because, you know, he just said it in passing as just very matter of fact. Yeah, I did everything I could. I mean, it was. I thought it was funny. Thank you, DJ. Okay, let's talk to. I want to talk. Let's see. I don't see any more emails that say patron, okay, if you are a patron and you didn't put it in your subject, then you got to put it in your subject. Otherwise I won't know. Okay. Let's talk to somebody that was in Perth. And this was Ted, who he emailed me and said he got a ticket and went to the chamber. So yeah, Ted, if you have feedback, by all means, please let me know. But he said that I'd love to hear your feedback. Anybody in person who went, I'd love to hear your feedback from Perth. Number one, he says, I found you a year ago. I've been hooked on your show. Did I already read this? Did I read this last week? I don't know. I really don't know if I read this, but I'll read it. Okay. So you said you're a 42-year-old father of 3, under 5. So I have 0 time to myself. I've been wanting to do numerous times to contact your show to say it's absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. You see that, Anthony? See, I have fans. I have real fans out there that like the show. See that? No, I did not make up this email. Okay, I didn't write it myself. But all right, Ed. Yeah, if you're a father of 3, you have 3 kids under 5. God bless you, dude. I'm 39 with 2 kids. I couldn't imagine 3 under 5. My God, yeah, you have no time, none. But you say you're a London guy now, living in Oz and Perth specifically, and the one time in 6 years that WWE comes to Australia, it comes to Perth. A dream come true, unless you have your own landscaping business, and both your business vehicle and family vehicle need to be replaced, so now you can't afford a $450 ticket. Anyway, this email is being sent on Friday before SmackDown. I got to go to the press conference, which was a hell of a lot of fun. The brawl between KO and Logan was fun. The problem I have is they're advertising 40,000+ that are going to be in attendance, which sucks considering that the Optus Stadium holds 60,000. Truth is, the tickets you can buy here are up so high you can't see a thing, but they do cost $150. If you want anywhere good with a view of the ring, it's $500. Ringside is $3,000. Is that how much it costs for a pay-per-view or PLE in the United States? That's okay. So if it's dollars for dollars here, then yeah, that's about right. Especially for a PLE, that's about right. That's about right. For a PLE. Now, ringside for Raw, I checked here, upstate New York, and ringside for Raw, if not secondhand, but if you buy them through like Ticketmaster, it's like $700, $800 for ringside for just Raw. So a PLE, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's still not cheap, but 2 things. I'm going to get a patron and subscribe when finances allow. Well, very good. I'll look forward to it there, Ted. Number 2, my dream scenario for WrestleMania in clean match would be Cody and Roman, then The Rock, Jimmy and Solo come out in that order. But again, in order, this is going to be fun. Stone Cold, Jay, and Randy come out and thwart them in order. That way Cody gets the clean win. That's all I'm asking for, is just if they're going to do some extracurricular activities, that it needs to look like Cody didn't need help to beat Roman, that the people coming out are only to clear the deck, to reset the match, in other words, to make it a level playing field. That's all it should be. But I also don't need this match overbooked, and I can sense myself and fans getting tempted to overbook this with a ton of people getting involved, and I don't think that's needed. I don't mind if Austin comes in and starts stunning people. I mean, that'd be awesome. I think that he should stun Jimmy. He should stun Solo and leave Roman Reigns alone. If he wants to stun Roman after the match, that'd be fun. But don't do it to help Cody. And that sounds insane coming from, someone that, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the reason I'm sitting here right now. But to me, I think that it would hurt Cody's credibility in such a massive title change and a defining moment in his career if he ends up capitalizing on someone else's finish. It's not good. But I think you're in lockstep with me. All right. My God, we still have so many emails. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a part 2 here. We haven't even touched the voicemails. Maybe I'll do one more. Where do I want to go? Let's talk to, oh my God, you guys, too many long emails. I'm skipping the long emails is what I'm doing. I'm sifting those out. This is just too long. So I'm going to go with something simple. Let's talk to John. And John says, hi there. So I read an article last week that Cody was told at the Rumble that it was going to be Rock Roman at WrestleMania, even though he was going to win the Rumble. And also that Punk was going to win the Chamber and face Seth at WrestleMania, which brings a couple questions. One, what the heck was WWE planning to do with Cody if Punk didn't get hurt? Just sit out WrestleMania? I think the idea was probably to put him in a some kind of multi-person match, because here's the thing. There's nothing else you could do with Cody winning the Rumble other than put him in a title match. You would totally crap on the credibility of the Rumble victory if he was not in a world title or undisputed title match. You can't do it. I mean, and him sitting out, imagine the Royal Rumble winner sitting out. Then why even bother, right? Like, what does the Rumble mean anymore? So I think that's what would have happened. 2, assuming it was Rock versus Roman and Roman was slated to win the match, is the booking going to change now that it's a new opponent? Triple H may be saying, okay, I'll give the crowd what they want with Cody, but I'm not changing it. I'm not changing how I want the match booked. Can you imagine the Cody fans if Roman wins? A part of me wants to see that play out. I would agree. John, thank you for the email. I would agree. There's a growing part of me that wants to see Roman retain just to see how the Cody fans would react. I want to see the outrage. I want to see what the in-person crowd does. I mean, they might actually start littering the ring with crap. We haven't seen that in a long time. It could get, physically unsafe in Philly if Cody loses the match. But you're right. If Rock wasn't going to win, and the plan was for Roman to retain the championship and move on, then do they totally blow up the plans of not just who's facing Roman, but also the title change? It all depends on how much do they value Roman beating Hogan's streak. Do they value it so much that they're willing to take the insane amount of backlash that they're going to get if Cody loses at WrestleMania? Are they willing to do that? And are they willing to kind of hurt Cody's character? I mean, at this point, you almost can't have him lose. So it wasn't just the fans, telling The Rock to go away to have Cody in the main event, but also we want a title change here. We don't want this kind of facade of a match. This illusion that The Rock could beat Roman, which we all knew he's not going to do it if the belt's on the line. So, I actually want to thank Cody fans for that, because that clearly was the plan. And I have been an advocate of no belt when Rock Roman happens. And I think we'll finally get that. So when we get to Rock Roman, when all that lines up later this year, Roman will no longer be champion, and it'll be Rock Roman for the no belt and just pride or whatever they fight for. So thank you, crybabies. I appreciate you. All right. So that's where I'll end it for tonight. I know that there's a lot more. We have more emails, more voicemails to come, but it's late at night here. I'm gonna have to call it an audible here and wrap it up. But if I talk to you guys, it'll be probably, tomorrow's Friday. I'll try to do a part 2 tomorrow, although things are wonky. I have got a lot going on. I don't know if or when I'll get to a part 2. If I do, it'll be either tomorrow or it'll be Sunday on the Mailbag show or on the Weekend Review show that I'll complete the rest of the emails and voicemails. It's just so much to talk about, guys, and the volume continues to increase. As I've said, it's difficult to get to everybody. It really is. But I do prioritize patrons. So if you want to get on board with making sure 100% you get your email read, head over to patreon.com/WWE podcast and get that opportunity and get that guarantee locked in with ad-free everything too to go with it. So also head on over to Apple Podcasts. I know a lot of you have done that, and get yourself an ad-free experience. And interesting to hear what you guys have to say about this what this particular episode, because I know I dabbled into some things that are a bit on the sensitive side, but hey, it is what it is. And it sometimes bleeds into wrestling. So thanks everybody for listening. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.